Welcome back to Patch Lab, the channel where we dive into the weird and wonderful corners of gaming. Today we're talking about a roguelike that caught me completely off guard. It's called Slots and Daggers, and it mixes dungeon crawling, fantasy combat with, wait for it, slot machines. Yep, every sword slash, every fireball, every healing potion comes down to the spin of the wheel. So is this just a RNG hell, or is there actually strategy hiding underneath the chaos? Stick around because over the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to break down the mechanics, progression, presentation, strength, weaknesses, comparisons, and my final verdict. Grab your lucky coin because we're spinning into it. Let's start with what this game actually is. Slots and Daggers is an indie roguelike being developed by Friedman and published by Future Friends Games. Right now it's in demo form on Steam. When I first heard about it, I pictured something gimmicky like a slot minigame slapped onto an RPG, but after playing I realized the slot system isn't just a window dressing, it's the core mechanic, and it changes how you think about combat, resource management, and even risk taking. I'll be honest, at first I laughed, spinning a slot wheel to attack a goblin. It felt silly, but 5 minutes later I was leaning forward in my chair praying for the potion symbol to hit before I got flatlined. That's when I realized this game actually works because it makes random feel tense and personal. So here's how it plays. Imagine your usual roguelike. You fight enemies, collect loot, survive as long as possible. Now throw away your attack buttons. Instead you've got slot wheel filled with icons, swords, shields, potions, spells. You spin and whatever lands determines your action. At first it feels like pure chance, but the deeper you go, the more you realize you can influence outcomes. You can load your wheel with more of the symbols you like. You can upgrade modifiers so your odds tilt in certain directions. You can learn to time spins to stop at specific points, though timing isn't always perfect. The best part, the drama. You're down to 1 health, the enemy's about to drop a huge hit. You spin the wheel, clunks, slows, stutters, and bam, you land the shield just in time. Or you miss and die instantly. That feeling of suspense is the magic of this game. It's not just combat either, the roguelike progression adds depth. Each run gives you modifiers, new symbols, new slots, new perks. One run I focus on stacking shield symbols until I was basically a wall. Another time I built a run around fireballs, turning the wheel into a magical nuke. The randomness means no 2 runs feel the same. The demo already gives us a taste of different enemies and zones. You'll fight hammered goblins, deserted gunslingers, and strange little creatures that punish you if you mistime your spins. Each enemy type forces you to think differently. Some depend on you to block at the right moment. Others chip you down with constant pressure, and bosses, well, let's just say they'll test whether you wheel build can survive long fights. Progression is satisfying in that roguelike way. Even when you die, you feel like you're unlocking something. New modifiers, better wheels, more interesting spins. And because the slot machine is so unusual, every new modifier genuinely changes how you play. For example, one upgrade gave me a potion symbol. Suddenly I was playing differently, spinning to stack potion damage over time instead of brute forcing hits. Another run gives me double potion chances, which saved me in a situation where I normally would have died. Visually, Slots and Daggers has a crude but charming art style. It looks almost like doodles brought to life. Sketchy monsters, rough edges, simple animation, and while that might sound like a negative, it actually works. It adds personality. The enemies have this goofy but menacing vibe. It reminds me of the kind of drawings you'd find in the back of high school math notebooks, except now they're coming to smash your face in. UI-wise, the game's functionality, but it's not perfect. Some symbols aren't explained well, so early on you'll be confused. You'll see lightning bolts or weird shapes and think, what does that do? This is definitely something that needs to polish before full release. On the audio side, the slot spins are satisfying. You get the clunks, the pings, the arcade style tension. The music leans into gritty retro vibe, part dungeon, Empire Casino, it fits the game's identity perfectly. Now let's talk about what Slots and Daggers nails. First, originality. The concept is fresh in a sea of roguelikes. This one dares to be weird. Second is tension. Few games make every single input feel like life or death. Here every spin matters. That builds suspense in a way most games can't match. Third, replayability. Because the wheel can change so much, the runs don't blur together. You get unique builds and outcomes that keeps things fresh. And finally, charm. Between the art style, the quirky enemies, and the observed slot machines, combat the game oozes personality. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that makes it fun. In the beginning, you'll notice as well when you first start, you get to choose 3 modifiers or 3 weapons or defense, you can say, and as you progress on time, each time you win or get further, the game gives you a new symbols or inventory that you can use to start with in the game, so you have to choose wisely which you want to use. Of course, this isn't a perfect spin. The game has a weakness. Number 1, balance. Some enemies can destroy you in one hit. I had a run where I was doing great, stacked wheel, good upgrades, and then out of nowhere a one shot ended it. That feels unfair, and it's something I hope gets tuned. Number 2, clarity. Symbols need clearer explanations when you can't read your own wheel properly. You feel like you're making blind choices. Number 3, RNG frustrations. Yes, randomness is part of the fun, but sometimes it tips into rage territory. You know what you need, you spin, and the game gives you the opposite 3 times in a row. That can feel like your choices don't matter. And finally, presentation polish. The crude art is charming, but some players might see it as unpolished rather than intentional. Same with the UI. It could use a little more clarity and style to make it shine. Looking at the Steam reviews and forums, players are split. Some love the creativity and the tension, others refund the game after dying too fast or feeling like it's all luck. That tells me this is a devised title, and honestly, that's fine. Not every game has to please everyone. As for comparison, the closest I can think of it is Slay the Spire, but instead of building a deck, you're building a wheel, or maybe Binding of Isaac if all your items came from a slot machine. The difference is that those games give you more control. Slots and Daggers embrace chaos. It's not about perfect planning, it's about managing randomness and adapting on the fly. If that excites you, you'll love it. If it stresses you out, maybe not. So where could this go? Honestly, I think long-term potential is huge. Imagine more biomes, crazy symbols, deeper modifiers. Imagine a full campaign where you spin your way through a bizarre fantasy world. The foundation is here, it just needs more content and balance. That's why I'd say keep this on your wish list. Try the demo now if you're curious, but the real payoff will be when the full version drops with more polish and in-depth. My verdict? Slots and Dagger is a rough gem. It's bold, it's weird, and it's addictive, but it's not for everyone. If you love roguelikes and don't mind some RNG chaos, give it a shot. If you want precision and fairness, maybe wait and see. For me, I'm glad I played it. It made me laugh, it made me rage, and it made me spin. Just one more time, and that's a win in my book. And that's it for my deep dive into Slots and Dagger. Let me know down in the comments, do you enjoy games that lean heavily into randomness, or do you prefer skill-based roguelikes? If you like this review, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bells so you don't miss my future reviews. This is Patchlap signing off. May your spins land on a triple swords every single time. Peace.